Hello, welcome to this edition of Momentum. I'm your host, Robert Green from the Bagley College of Engineering. I'm happy today to be joined in the studio by Tyler Reeves. Tyler is a senior majoring in cybersecurity here in the Bagley College. Tyler, welcome. Happy to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I remember you from a while back. You came up as a prospective student, and we met in the dean's office with you and your parents, and I think you and your father. And at the time, I think you were interested in mechanical engineering, or at least that's what you said. But then you actually enrolled as engineering without specifying a specific major. So how did you come to settle on cybersecurity?
So I honestly picked engineering, kind of how most high school students think about it. They're like, oh, I really like math, and so they pick engineering and that's their path. And so I knew that, I knew I liked math, I knew that's what I was good at, and I knew I wanted to do engineering. But I really never felt like I understood what each major did, and I understood to an extent what a mechanical engineer was, but maybe not necessarily what their day-to-day was like, or what kind of classes you took. And so I enrolled as engineering undeclared because I didn't feel like I was ready to declare, and I was kind of too stubborn to be like, pick one and then want to change it. I wanted to just kind of get a feel for it and see where I went. So I enrolled and I took Intro to Engineering with you. Yeah. And each week we went through all the different majors. I learned so much more about what each major did, and cybersecurity was really something I didn't even know about. I never would have picked it if I had gone with a major originally. And so hearing you talk about it, I was like, that is so interesting, that's new. I didn't know anybody that had ever done that before. And so that's why I picked it. And the more I looked into it, it just fascinated me more. And it's such a growing field with all the artificial intelligence coming out and all the different things that people have learned to do. And looking into the industry, where I interned last summer, there were different groups within the cybersecurity department, and people had worked in one group and then moved to another. And so that really interested me, of how it wouldn't just be one job for the rest of my life. I could do so many different jobs within cyber, and so yeah. Yeah,
it's certainly a growing area, and I think you're going to have a really good career in that field. So what brought you to the Bagley College? I mean, you're obviously very talented, had lots of options, had not really decided on a specific major then. So what brought you to the Bagley College of Engineering?
So I knew I wanted to do engineering, and so department-wise wasn't really in my decision, since I wasn't sure. What my mom and I did is, one summer we basically did an SEC road trip, and I went to almost all of the colleges in the SEC that were in driving distance, and I toured all of them, and truly none of them felt like Mississippi State. And just the community that we have here, and how it's kind of a smaller SEC school, and just you can tell all the people that go to school here love it so very much. And when you get a tour, you can really see that, and how much they care for students to come here and want them to love it as much. And so that's why I picked it.
Yeah, well, thanks. So looking back on it now, where you are, would you have done anything differently or not?
I do wish that as a freshman I had come in with a major. I think it would have helped me a lot in knowing this is what I want to major in, so this is what I want to minor in, and having a better idea of what I wanted to do. But I think that's part of college, and you will talk to so many engineering students who started in one and changed because they realized, oh, I'm so much more interested in this major. And so I do wish that I had kind of known a little bit more prior to, but I wouldn't change it.
So any words of wisdom for prospective students who might be in the situation you are in, and helping them decide what to do?
I think it depends on the person and kind of how they feel towards which engineering they want to do. If they have a family business and they know they want to do mechanical, but they're unsure, I would definitely encourage them to start in it. Okay. And if they wanted to change, they could. But if they were truly like how I was, and they had no idea, and they didn't feel like they had a good enough grasp, kind of what each engineering department did, I would go in engineering undeclared, and I would kind of use my first semester to learn about the different majors and get some of my general requirements that all majors have to take. Yeah. Because it didn't set me behind at all to come in undeclared, and I think that it helped me have more clarity on the major I chose and feel better about the one I picked. And so I think it's okay to come in declared, and I think it's okay to come in undeclared, because you will eventually get to where you find the one you love, and that's what truly matters.
Good. You're also part of the Shackles Honors College. What interested you in the Honors College?
In high school, I always participated in honors classes, and I loved that part of high school to where it pushed me to be better and make better grades, and I think I wanted to continue that in college. You have to maintain a certain GPA to stay in the honors college, and so it kind of keeps you to a higher standard, just as that extra push. And then there's so many opportunities within the honors college. You have to take a certain amount of classes to stay as a student, and so this kind of gives you a different opportunity of taking classes that didn't necessarily go along with my major and that don't count towards my degree. Like your honors engineering class, engineering public policy, doesn't count for my major, and I never would have taken it had I not had to have the honors class, but it was first off my favorite honors class I've taken, and it gave me another perspective of engineering and seeing how it's not just working in a field and that kind of thing, but how policy and the laws and regulations relate to engineering and how that's another path you can take. And I think that's something that's really awesome to see, all the different things you can do with your engineering degree. And so I think the Honors College is great because it gives you opportunities to take other classes and get a different perspective on different majors.
So what are some of the other favorite classes you like or enjoy most that you've had so far?
Right now I'm in Intro to Cyber Operations, which is definitely one of my favorite classes because I started my internship last summer and didn't know all the information and felt like there was a lot of resources they used and that kind of thing. And I've come back and I'm taking this class now and I'm like, oh, that's what I used at my internship and this is why it matters, and kind of a little bit more of the educational side of it versus just this is how you use it. And so that's been really cool. I took a class called Discrete Structures, I believe was the name of it, and we learned about how the computer works and how the binary numbers. And so cybersecurity has been so awesome because there's so many different classes between the computer science and the coding of it, and then also just the different things that threat actors use and how to prevent that and that kind of thing.
Well, engineering can be challenging at times, and engineering students are busy. And one of the questions I get is, how is a student able to not only be in, but be successful in both engineering and the Honors College?
I think the simple answer is time management, of just learning how to utilize your time. If you have a break in between classes, you take that to do homework. I also think that one of the greatest things about the engineering college are the professors, and a lot of the professors have office hours, and so I've been able to utilize that time where it kind of kept me on track of, okay, I know I'm going to need help on this homework assignment. I need to have enough of it done to go meet with my professor so he can help me. And that has helped me be successful in the sense of, okay, I'm confused. I've had to recognize I need to ask for help. And so I've asked, and rather than just sitting there and staring at it, a professor was able to help me and teach me one-on-one, which helped me.
Good. Well, you've been a high-achieving student long before you ever came here. You had a good bit of AP credit in high school. Do you think that helped you or not? Would you take those AP courses again?
Absolutely. If I went back to high school, I would take all of the same ones. It helps me with my English classes. I was able to knock those out, and so I was able to take engineering public policy first semester, and that was kind of like my English class of reading and getting to write papers for that, versus if I needed to take English again, I probably wouldn't have taken that class. And so I think it helps you, and it also helps with calculus. If you want to retake it, you're ahead. You can kind of sit back and get a review, and you can start college on an easier note versus having to start and not understand any of your classes and it all be new information.
Yeah. You're also a member of a sorority, Kappa Delta, I believe.
Yes.
What's your interest there? Why did you choose to get involved in Greek life? I know a lot of our engineering students aren't, but a lot are.
Yes, I know it's a minority of the college as a whole for people who are in Greek life. My mom was in a sorority and my grandmother, and so it was never really a question for me, but I know it is for a lot of students. And just giving it the opportunity or learning from someone kind of what you do it's so much more than just meeting people. We have philanthropies and participate in so many service events, and it's been my way of giving back to the community and being able to get involved. And so it's just another thing outside of school that gives me something to do.
Yeah. So you're also a Bagley Ambassador, and not just a Bagley Ambassador, but president of that organization. Tell us a little bit about Bagley Ambassadors. What do they do, and how might a student get involved if they're interested?
So Bagley Ambassadors give tours to potential students who want to major in engineering. One of the coolest things I think is that if you come in and you know you want to be mechanical, we will set you up with a mechanical ambassador so you can truly learn what their classes are like. They can tell you how hard the labs are, what their favorite class is, tell you what organizations to get involved in. We also write postcards to students and give them our email if they ever have a question they want to ask, and we host different events. And so if a student wanted to get involved, we do recruitment in the fall, and they can apply, and we have an interview process and that kind of thing. And then there'll be a new member if they're accepted, and kind of learn how to give tours and help out.
Yeah. I know it's an important organization, and some of the feedback we get from prospective students is meeting the ambassadors is one of the big reasons they end up coming here. So Tyler, you've been busy both in the classroom, outside of the classroom, engineering, cybersecurity, a challenging discipline. Can you quickly, in about a minute or so, walk us through a typical day? What does Tyler do from the moment she wakes up until she goes to bed?
So since I'm cybersecurity, I'm able to work remotely with my internship, and so I wake up and I work remotely almost every day, and then I usually have a few classes that I'll go to, and I'll help with a Bagley event or give a tour and do homework and that kind of thing. And so I stay very busy, but I like to be busy, and I think it makes college a lot more enjoyable.
And you're able to work study time in between all of that?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite place on campus?
My favorite place on campus for study purposes, would be the library, the basement. There's a certain desk that I like to go sit in before every test and prepare.
Okay. Well, that's great. The library is one of my favorite places too. Even the Grant Presidential Library it's a good place to go visit. Tyler, I want to thank you for choosing to join us here at the Bagley College, but especially for joining me here in the studio today and for all your help with the Bagley Ambassadors. I want to thank you all for joining us on this edition of Momentum, and I look forward to seeing you on the next time.